Hello and welcome back. Today we're looking at an updated version of my previous spider farm. This version is updated to account for 118 mechanics as well as adding some additional features. Here are the rates you can expect from this farm. This farm is able to be run in a drop kill mode and also a player kill mode. When getting drop kills, you can expect up to 20,000 string per hour. And because you occasionally get spider jockeys, you also get a few bones and a few arrows. When running the farm in player kill mode, you get about the same amount of string, 20,000 string per hour, but you also get 13,000 spider eyes per hour. If you're interested in downloading this farm, the description box below will have both a link to a Litematica schematic as well as a world download. Key new features of this version is it now contains an on-off switch. So if you hit any of those target blocks with your bow and arrow, it will release some lava, which will allow the entire farm to be lit up so that no more spiders can spawn. This version of the farm also uses platforms that are constructed out of soul sand, and the reason for that is the size of the soul sand is it's a full block, but it's also not a full block. Because it's a full block, it makes it so that spider jockeys, the skeletons, will take damage, and a lot of them will die off. Where in the previous version, we built the platforms out of top slabs, which allowed spiders to spawn, but spider jockeys did not take damage because the slabs are not full blocks. The mechanic we're using to control the spiders is iron golems. Spiders will detect iron golems and will charge at them. And because of the pathfinding of spiders, they will just run right off the side. Placing the iron golems can be a little bit tricky because iron golems are 3 blocks tall, but there's only one space between the platforms. So what that means is these iron golems have to intersect with each other. I'm using trapdoors for the iron golems to stand on, but it can be any non-solid block. The trick to it is that you have to get the next trapdoor intersected with the head of the iron golem below it. So the easiest way to do that is with a setup like this. Using 2 pistons, you can push the trapdoor into place. So put a button on the back piston and then a button on the forward piston, and that trapdoor is now right where you need it. After your trapdoor is placed, you can then drop an iron golem in from above. So here I have a setup just to demonstrate why we're using soul sand. We just dispense some items. You can see that this block, when it's at its lowest point, is a lot lower than this block when it's at its lowest point. So that creates a block that is spawnable, but also allows more space in between for the spiders to spawn. This test platform here is the same size as the platforms that we're using in the actual farm. You'll notice that there are 4 holes, and those are the holes that the lava falls through in order to block all spawns. So you see with those 4, all blocks are lit to a level above 0. With the 118 lighting update, you need a lighting level of 1 to prevent overworld mob spawns. As you're building these platforms, the space where you're seeing the lava, just leave those empty. Once you stack them all up, the lava will fall down through them like we saw in the original farm. So I'll just pause over top of this sample platform so you can copy this for your build. One other note on the iron golems, we're using stone brick walls because my testing showed that it provides the greatest amount of protection for the iron golems. They're a little bit thicker than fences, and they are more than 1 block tall. So once you stack a bunch of these platforms on top of each other, the spiders, they fall down at an angle, and they can eventually get pretty close to these iron golems. So the walls, in my opinion, provide the greatest amount of protection so they don't take damage. We are back over here at the main farm, and we'll take a look at the redstone that's used for the on-off mechanic. When you're standing down here in your player area, there is a hole in the ceiling here where you are able to see these target blocks. You can shoot an arrow through there, and the outline of the redstone lamps will show you if you hit any of the target blocks. If any of them light up, you know that the target was hit and that the mechanism was activated. So coming up here, we'll take a look at this a little closer. Hitting one target block I found a little bit difficult, so I set a 3x3 square of target blocks like this makes it a whole lot easier to hit. They are surrounded in redstone lamps with redstone dust on top of them in a pattern like this. So this allows any target block that is hit will power this sticky piston. The sticky piston has slime on top of it with a redstone block that hits another sticky piston that extends all the way up to the ceiling. Once we're on the ceiling, this redstone block will pop up an additional space and will hit this redstone. The redstone path just follows around the ceiling. You notice that most of the roof is made of stone slabs, but for redstone has to be on a full block. So it just goes around. It's using repeaters where required, and it is hitting dispensers that have lava buckets in it. And those dispensers are obviously lined up with the holes that we left in the platforms from before. So when the redstone mechanism is activated, this block pops up one, the redstone hits all of the dispensers, and the lava is dispensed. Now my other farms that have on-off switches, they're in the nether, and in the nether lava moves a whole lot faster. So here it does take a little bit of time for the lava to work its way down, but you can see if we turn on light levels, as it extends down to the level, it does light up each platform so that no overworld mobs are able to spawn. The lava then flows into this channel over here. This is the channel that is above where the player stands in there, and the purpose for this is so that you can look through that window that's in the ceiling of the water there, and you're able to see this lava that has flowed across there, and that's just an indication that the lava is dispensed and the mob spawning is turned off. The spider collection area was modified a little bit from the previous design. I changed it so that the space that the spiders fall down is much larger. So you see this is 7 blocks across here with signs on the side. This allows a much bigger space for the spiders to fit through, and I found that this reduces the amount that spiders bunch up. And spiders, the way that their collision works, they can hit each other and they can actually survive a drop that would otherwise kill them. So although spiders do not require this far to fall to die from fall damage, I do have a 40 block fall here, which it is overkill, but it does help due to the spider collision. The spider kill area has also been updated. One of the problems with the previous design was spiders that would survive the fall would just stay in here forever until you left the area or you killed them with a bow and arrow. So I added some lava around the side here. And over time, spiders will eventually touch that lava, catch on fire, and die. I think the general platform is also a few blocks larger. So you can see here, this is 10 blocks across now. And the last feature of this is that we're transitioning from a full block to a wall to glass on top of it. So what happens is spiders, when they try to climb up this wall, they will get stuck in this gap, which will prevent them from being able to climb up here and escaping. And all of the water is also an attempt to prevent them from escaping, or in rare cases, spiders can actually fall down and miss the 10 by 10 platform and land a few blocks into the water. I didn't want to make the platform any larger than this, so the water seemed like a good compromise that'll flush all spiders into here, and hopefully will allow them to touch the lava and still be killed. So the water platform, it's the full distance that water flows, 8 blocks. And when you're building this, make sure you don't put in the corner blocks, or they will all turn into source locations. Here, like we showed before, this is 2 gates that were placed, and this allows you to see the target blocks when you're standing under here in the player spot. This farm also has a little bit of redstone over here. It has a button, and that button dispenses some water. This allows you to kill the spiders with player kills, and the player kills is what allows you to get the spider eyes. The redstone for dispensing water is pretty simple. Just have a button, the redstone path going around, a repeater where needed, and we are powering the blocks underneath the dispensers, in this case in a pattern that it looks like this. We'll fly back around the side and hit the button to turn the water back off. In the player area here, I do have stairs, and what I found is that when you're getting player kills, being above the spiders up here seems to work out better. So I'll turn the mob spawning back on. We got some spiders in here to show. So I hit the target block, so that lava should be dissipating, and here in just a few seconds we should see this lava indicator right there should dissipate. And there you go, there's confirmation that the lava has dissipated. Using a game rule to keep the mob spawns off, but now that spawning is allowed back up there, we'll turn the game rule back so that mobs can spawn. And with the counter over on the right, you can see how quickly we get up to mob cap. So just less than 10 seconds there, we're over 50 spiders. And 60, and the mob count will stay between generally 60 and 70. You notice because of the Y level that I built this at, you do get the occasional glow squid. So now that the mob spawning is turned back on, we'll dispense the water. And what I found the best method for doing this is to just walk across the front and swing your sword after the sweeping edge has recharged. So the sword I'm using is Bane of Arthropods, Mending, Sweeping Edge, and of course Looting 3. One thing that's interesting about this farm is that player kills with looting does not result in a whole lot more string than you get from drop kills. And the reason for that is you just can't kill the spiders fast enough with a sword. With drop kills, the spiders are dying as fast as they're falling, but with player kills, as you can see, spiders don't really tend to bunch up as much as other mobs, so you're limited in how fast you're able to kill them. The collection I'm using for this farm is pretty simple. We just have hoppers across the bottom here in the 10 by 10 platform, and they're all just feeding forward into a line of chests. You can, of course, put this into a more complicated filtering system because you are going to get a bunch of different items, especially if you're doing player kills. So because I have this farm at a pretty low level, you see that's y equals 2. We're pretty far down in the world, which doesn't prove spawns, but it has the disadvantage that you're going to get glowing sacks. I like using chains across here, but other blocks probably work as well. Gives you good visibility, lets you be able to hit the spiders easily, and it gives you access to these chests down here if you decide to put these stairs in place to make the spider kills a little bit easier. So building it lower in the world does tend to give a little bit better results, but it is important that you reduce the spawns around the farm. So the main key to that is reducing other spawnable space. So one thing that you can do if you don't want to build a full overworld perimeter is you can build this farm above the ocean. So if you build this platform at y equals 192 above a large ocean, that should get you far enough away that you'll be far enough away from other land that you won't be getting a whole lot of other mob spawns. And if there is land nearby and you see mobs spawning on it, it's easy just to light that up. And one last thing I didn't mention before is the roof. So the roof does need to be a little bit larger than it was in previous versions. Most farms made the roof this large anyway to keep the light at 0, but it wasn't strictly necessary. But now it is if you want to maximize your spawn rates. So the size of this roof, I believe, is pretty close to optimal. I think it's optimal. So I'll pause above the roof here if you want to copy this for your build. While designing this farm, I tried a bunch of different blocks, and as far as I can tell, soul sand might be the only block that works like this. So here I have some command blocks set up to replace these, and so we just changed it from soul sand over to soul soil, and as you see, there's not any new spiders spawning in there. So keep an eye on the counter over on the right. You can get a sense of if mobs are spawning or not. If we change it to cobblestone, it's largely the same thing. No new spawns. slime blocks, which are actually spawnable, whereas honey is not. So while these are definitely spawnable blocks, see we're not getting any new spawns. So here we have top slabs. This is the material that my first version of this was made out of. It provides enough space for the spiders to spawn. There you see a jockey spawn, and he is not taking damage, and he's stuck in place. So if you're running this farm for long amounts of time, your spider jockeys would just build up, and they would hurt your mob spawn rates. And some other blocks that I tried. Honey, which actually isn't spawnable. You sink into it; it's not considered a full block. Chests, which are shorter than a full block, but they're not spawnable, and they're also very laggy. End portals, just for fun, but not spawnable. Here we have paths. Paths by design are not spawnable, although I think they are a few pixels shorter than a full block. Grass, spawnable, but there's not enough space between the platforms for spiders to spawn. And finally, we're back to soul sand, and you'll see pretty quickly the mobs will start to spawn again. That is all I have for you today. If you like this video, drop a like, and if you're interested in more of my farms, you can check out my YouTube channel and consider subscribing. Thank you and goodbye.